Chapter 4. Le Kiss. I went back home and spent most of November spending time with myself. Then, on the last day of the month, I got a text. Hey, you back in LA? I was surprised to hear from him, honestly. Sort of thought that was that. Lil and Abel broke up. Lil was my friend. My relationship to Abel was always sort of just through her up until that point. And the boy, as far as I could see it, was cool with ending our road there as well. I was sort of bummed just because the whole thing had felt so magical from all sides, but I wasn't losing sleep over it or anything. I was focused on work and learning and becoming whoever it is I'm meant to be. But then I got that text. I remember I was sitting alone in my favorite movie theater about to watch one of the movies I'd been most excited about that season. I love going to the movies by myself. To me, it's the purest way to watch. No interruptions, no other opinions, let alone the incomparable experience of the big screen. It's my favorite place. I was sitting in the low light under the dome, a little stoned before the trailers, when I felt my phone buzz. I looked down, and that feeling instantly whirled from the phone up my arm through my whole body again. That sparkly feeling. The lights went down. After the movie, I responded. Hi! Yes, are you? Just got out of a movie. Yeah, I am. What movie did you see? The Favorite. What are you up to tonight? Just at home right now? What are you doing? Just got home. I miss you. I want to hug you. I miss you too. Are you free tomorrow? The next day was the 1st of December. He texted me in the late morning. It was a cool, sunny LA winter kind of day. One where I could wear my spandex shorts and my dad's baby blue Coogee sweater that made me feel like I was in a 90s hip-hop music video. I met him at a sandwich shop. He was with Abel. I walked up to the two of them sitting at a table outside. Billy, it's so good to see you! I know, it's so nice to see your faces. Abel bombarded me with attention. This was the first time I hung out with him without Lil. Before, he was always cool, but he also always treated me like her friend. But here, any semblance of stranger danger had subsided. The walls all fell down. He felt different. It felt like home. Me and Lil broke up, did you hear? I did. Yeah, how's your boyfriend? We actually broke up too. On the same day as you guys. What's always with the weirdness with you, Billy? I laughed. The boy was quiet. I could feel him, watching intently, listening with his whole body. I'm sorry, that sucks. I really liked him. Yeah, me too, but it's for the best. What happened? I just didn't want to be in a relationship anymore. Word, I feel that. The boy had heard all he needed to hear. Should we walk to the park? The three of us moseyed over to a park on the other side of the boulevard. That magical feeling was instantly back. It felt like I was with two long-lost brothers or two parts of my heart that had been numb or sleeping. It felt like we were kids on summer vacation with no parents to answer to ever again. After a little while of playing around in the grass, we got onto the topic of magic mushrooms. I know a guy. Yes, I remember you saying that. Let's go get them. Sure, I can text him. How far away is he? Probably like 25, 30 minutes. I'm down. We both looked at the boy, who stared back at us mysteriously. What? I took him in through my pores. A slow smile wiped across his face. I feel like he was potentially down to eat them, but doesn't want to go through the hassle of going to get them. He perked up and met my eyes with a startled look. Is she right? The boy laughed. That's weird, that you can read him. He's been my best friend for 4 years and I can't even read him half the time. Then Abel said he had to go. He said he had some errands to run, plus he doesn't like not getting his way. It's one of his many adorably endearing qualities. We walked to my car and drove him the short way home. He hopped out and walked away, then he turned to wave goodbye, and his giant smile filled the space between us with that warmth of his. Should we go to my place? Sure. I had never been over so early in the day, and the light filled the space with a different, warmer glow. We talked and talked on the suede green couch until Winona came home with her boyfriend, as motherly and beautiful as ever. She needed the room to do an audition tape, so we went down the hall and back into his room to hang. For the first time. I'd peeked inside before, but that was it. His bed took up most of the room. I plopped down on top of it. He closed the door behind him and plopped down next to me. We squirmed around, close, but not touching, unable to sit still. It was back to that locked-in eye contact that felt secure, but also felt like resting. Like a break. I had a joint and pulled it out of my bag. He said he'd been trying not to smoke lately, but that he'd have a little. We each took a hit. It made me giddy, unable to hold in the giant, cheesing smile that was exploding from my heart. He was the same. We were like little mirrors to each other, rolling around in the sea of his dark blue bed, not ready to test the temperature of the water just yet. It went on like this for hours. It was starting to get dark, and I was starting to get hungry when he got a text from his friend Max asking if he wanted to get dinner. Should we all go to dinner? Sure. Fun. I'll see if Abel wants to come too. Winona, her boyfriend, the boy, and I walked down the hill of their home toward the boulevard. We made our way down to a pizza place. Abel got there right after us, exploding with energy, rejuvenated. He had just gotten a new phone and was very excited to talk about it. There was a 20-minute wait. Do you want to go inside and get a drink? Sure. We went inside to the bar and ordered. While we waited for our drinks, I looked over my shoulder at him and was overcome with a wave of I don't know what else to call it other than love. I threw my arms around him. It's so good to see you. I missed you. He hugged me tightly back. I missed you too. We went back outside. This was the first time I met Max. His energy was like if a golden retriever puppy got swallowed up by a Rottweiler. He was chaotic and shocking, snapping, but with a sensitivity that was almost overwhelming inside. Highly intuitive, reading everyone's energy and shouting it out whether they asked for it or not. Pretty invasive, really. Not that I have much room to talk. I've been accused of doing the same on more than one occasion. We were seated in a corner booth. I sat down in the center because I didn't want to get cut off on the end. I hate screaming to stay a part of the conversation, and I could tell between Max and Abel in his current mood that would be the case unless I secured a central spot. The boy sat next to me, so we were sandwiched in the booth between the two of them with Winona and her boyfriend across from us. It worked out nicely because Abel and Max could shout at each other without leaving anyone out. I hate being left out. It was such a lovely dinner. I'll never forget it, and I don't even know why. We sat outside on the patio with flame torch heaters surrounding us, talking about the bizarre idiosyncrasies that pervade most individuals who sign up for our line of work. Max was being insane. At one point, a fire truck sirened by, and he shot it from the table and chased it down the street, screaming. I remember thinking to myself, this boy is sweet, but any extended amount of time with him would really fuck with my anxiety. After dinner, we all walked back to the boys. On the walk, I chatted with Winona, getting to know her a little more deeply as her boyfriend quietly walked beside us. The other three had gone full middle school boy, yelling as they tackled each other into the bushes off the sidewalk. They were so much more affectionate with one another than other boys I'd known. It struck me. I liked it. Back at their spot, we all gathered in the living room. Abel sat down at the keyboard in the corner of the room and started to play. Max started to improvise a song about his love for Abel, and the boy chimed in with backup vocals. Winona laughed and rolled her eyes. A low-level competition for attention or creativity sauntered between the three of them and filled the air with an excitement that also felt a little unsafe. Finally, Max got a text from his girlfriend and swiftly announced that he had to go. Abel, I love you. I love the two of you. Great couple, really. And I don't know what this is exactly, but I like it. There he goes with the observations no one asked for. It might sound ridiculous, but I was still in full denial. I almost said we're just friends, but it felt like overcompensating to explain myself. We smoked the rest of my joint, and then Winona and her boyfriend went to bed. It was just the three of us again. The boy moved from his chair in the corner to snuggle up between me and Abel on the suede green couch. Stand-up comedy was on the TV while I tried to get myself into a more comfortable shape. You can put your legs on me. Oh, it's okay. That felt like too much. But I was stoned and pretty sleepy, but not yet ready to leave, so I curled up into a ball and put my head next to his lap. He touched the skin behind my ear with the tip of his finger back and forth so lightly I could barely feel it, and yet could also feel it through my whole entire body. It scared the shit out of me. I sat up. It's 2:30. I'm pretty sleepy. Me too. Want to drop me off on your way home? Sure. You guys can stay over if you want. I should go home. Yeah, not tonight, bud. I hugged the boy, and something behind our belly buttons felt like it melted into one another. We went down the wooden stairs, and I took Abel home. I floated all the way back to mine on the other side of town. The next day was the first day of Hanukkah. I went to the movies by myself again, this time in a beautiful 1920s one-room theater movie house. I wanted to invite Abel and the boy, but I didn't. Something stopped me. Fear of rejection or something. When the movie ended, it was late afternoon. I looked down at my phone and I had another text. Happy Hanukkah! Sent with confetti. LOL, happy Hanukkah. We should light candles. About to light up some candles at a potluck. I felt left out. I'm aware that doesn't make a lot of logical sense. Hanukkah potluck, so nice. Want to watch the next episode of Dan Amora tomorrow? New text. With me? We talked about how we both started the show. I have a dinner meeting tomorrow that I'm honestly sort of dreading at 7. Not sure how long it'll go, but we'll be down after if it's not too late. Or 2s if you want to wait. Not sure I'm going to be free 2s, but if you're down to come over after dinner, just let me know. Play by ear? Yeah, totally. Playing it by ear is my way of living. It's the way to be. Neither one of us had any commitment issues rearing their heads or anything. It was going on 10 by the time I finished my dinner meeting the next night. He texted me at the same time that I clicked on our thread. Hey, how you feeling for tonight? Whoa, just opened my phone to text you. I'm just leaving the meeting. I probably won't get to you before 11. How are you feeling? That's kind of late, huh? I'm feeling good. Still down if you want to come over, but if you're too tired, no worries. 20 minutes later, I decided to bite the bullet. I was wound up from the meeting. I wasn't going to sleep anytime soon anyway. I'll come hang for a little. Sweet. I was wearing my clothes from dinner. An olive green spaghetti strap velvet crop top with jeans and a jacket that went down to mid-calf to make it look professional. It was different than my usual vibe, which is more tomboy, but make it sex. I was in a different space, stressed about the meeting, wound up by some bullshit. You could tell how happy he was to see me when he opened the door. I was spinning and immediately started to ramble. He was sweet and genuinely cared, wanted to help me work through the confusion. Get it all off my chest. After like an hour, we finally started the show. It was a good episode. We sat on the suede green couch under a blanket, close, but not touching. It ended, and we sat there for a moment in the dark. I took a deep breath. Okay, it's late. I should get home. I was literally still pretending to myself. He leaned in slowly. But just as he got close, something inside said, wait, I don't think we should do this. Why not? I'm scared. Of what? I don't know. I just love you. Like, as a friend. And I just got out of a relationship, so it's fresh for me how bad it sucks when it's over. Like, me and my ex are cool, but we're not friends. Not real friends. And I don't want that to happen with us. I just don't know if it's a good idea. He looked away, contemplative, quiet for a long moment. Finally, I said, do you have any thoughts? He looked back at me with his head tilted down so his eyes could squint up into mine. I don't think it can be helped. My heart ached, but I ignored it as his face got closer to mine. He stopped about an inch away and waited for me to meet him the rest. I didn't. We breathed there for a full 15 seconds. I could have stayed right there. I didn't need any more. But then he kissed me. It was straight out of the movies. No moment of adjustment the way first kisses in real life often need. Slow, but in sync. Soft, but strong, like the magnet inside us had finally locked. After a couple seconds, I had to come up for air so I wouldn't melt into a puddle on the floor. I pushed him off me. Okay, but we're not having sex. Cool. We don't have to have sex. He kissed me again. I was fucked. After a while, he took off my pants. There was no way I was stopping him. I've had enough boyfriends to fill up my right hands and been with more people than that. But this feeling was completely different. Something beyond touch. He took his time, making his way down my body until he finally took off my underwear. He went down on me until I came pretty fucking fast. And that was all we did. I didn't touch him. We went down the hall and got into his bed. As we dozed off, I mumbled, "That was pretty impressive. My mom is a gynecologist." You don't really say that to girls, do you? He laughed. The next morning, I had to leave pretty early. He woke up when I did because we'd cuddled all night. I got up and put on my pants. "I'll walk you out." He said it before coming over to kiss me again. I felt it through my whole body, then pulled away and looked at him. I couldn't help but shake my head. I knew this wasn't a good idea. "Why not?" he protested, laughing. I smiled, but couldn't stop shaking my head.